What's good? This is Trey coming to you with this quick video. This is 5 texts that you should never send to a woman. Now, I'm going to give you context on these text messages because in some cases you can send it to a woman, but most of the time, in most cases, you should never really send these messages, right? But I will give you context and explain it properly. Right, so the first one is texting a woman complimenting her looks or complimenting her beauty, right? I rarely ever do that. And the reason for that is because if a woman is beautiful, if a woman is attractive, if a woman looks good, she already knows this. Not only that, if she really looks that good, there's already guys telling her that, right? She's already hearing that from a bunch of guys. And when those guys do that, she puts them in a category. Why does she do that? Because she knows right away when you're complimenting a girl and oh, you're so beautiful, she knows in the back of her mind, this guy is just trying to get in my pants. She knows that. She may not verbalize it or whatever, but she's aware. So unless you want to be in the category with those guys, you shouldn't do that. Instead, you should focus on what are the qualities that she is not being admired for? What are the characteristics that she has as a human being that are going unnoticed? Everyone's focusing on her looks. What are the things that she is doing or she believes in or that she is involved in, that she values, that nobody seems to be showing interest in? That's what you want to compliment on her. That's what you want to talk about. Now, there is a time and place for you to comment on her looks. That time and place, and is actually a period or a time in a relationship, like a place in a relationship, right? So, like if you are, romantically and sexually involved with a woman, now you're in a place where if you comment on her looks and her beauty, she won't put you in that category of those other guys because you're already in another category. You're involved in a romantic and sexual relationship with her. Actually, now when you compliment her and tell her she's beautiful and tell her these things, it will actually hit her emotionally. It would actually make an impact. She'll actually hear it and believe it because she actually cares about you. She actually values you. She actually has an intimate relationship with you. Therefore, your communication is valued, right? Your communication is accepted and it's seen as, something of importance or something of significance. So that's when you're in an intimate relationship and you're already sexual and all that stuff, that's when you compliment her looks, not before. There's no point in doing it before because, like I said, all it does is put you in that category with those other guys and just makes you look like a chump, And another way I like to look at it is like, to me, it's kind of like, for example, I'm tall, right? So if somebody comes up to me and says, hey, man, you're so tall, man, it's like, oh, yeah, thanks. But it's like, I already know that, man. It's nothing. You're not saying anything special. You're not saying anything new. So it's the same thing when you tell a girl she's beautiful. It's not like, if she's clearly beautiful, it's not like she's unaware of that. Right? Like she's hearing it. Other people are saying it. However, she'll believe it when it's coming from someone who she actually has invested in and she actually, is in a relationship with and that kind of thing, right? That's when it actually is impactful. All right, so the next one, do not text a woman with logical explanations as to why she should do something, right? So for example, like let's say she's not going, you're trying to get her on a date and she doesn't want to go and you say, we should really go on this date because, today, I went and I paid for, I went and paid for a hotel, or I went and did this, or, I basically like logically explaining the value of why she should, go on a date with you. Like, oh, it's gonna be so nice outside today, or you want to focus more on communicating with emotion, right? So like if you want her to get a result from her, you want to communicate in a way that's going to trigger her emotionally. Like not try to logically explain something, right? It's like it's even actually hard for me to think of an example because I just don't do that anymore. I probably used to do it. I did it a lot, I would assume, when I was coming up in the game and understanding women. Now I just don't do it. You don't have to you shouldn't logically explain anything because attraction is not it's not like a logical thing. It's an emotional thing. Right? So once you're aware of that, your communication, you change your communication to align with that understanding. Like, okay, what can I say that will communicate emotionally to her that she should show up to the date, right? Maybe you remember something that she told you in the first conversation you guys had, and maybe you bring that up and you relate that to the date somehow, right? You don't look for the logical, like, oh, you should go out, you should come with me, it's gonna be so fun, and there's gonna have nice ice cream there, and you don't want to go into that. You want to more focus on how can I create a feeling that's gonna make her want to go right now, right, as opposed to like logically explaining it, right? Because even as I'm saying it, it's funny because I'm trying to logically explain it, and I'm still in a way sort of explaining it emotionally because I have it so ingrained in me that the proper way to communicate is emotionally. But let me give an example of okay, so let's say a girl doesn't want to go on a date, right? What would be an emotional communication? Here is how I would do it, right? Let's say not that she doesn't want to go on a date, but maybe it just hasn't happened and she kind of like on the fence or whatever, right? So what I would do is I would say something like, let's say we haven't been on a date, so I say, hey, so-and-so, when are you free? And she'll say, oh, I'm not sure, I have to check my schedule. Let's say she says something like that, right? I will say, if I want to communicate in an emotional way, I'll go about it in a genuine way. So I'm not gonna make up some bullshit, but I'm gonna find a way to communicate in an emotional way that will make her more likely to want to go on a date. So let's say I remember that we had a conversation at some point that she was into, let's say she was into wine, right? Let's say she likes wine or something like that. Let's just say I will find like a nice wine place or something in the area, and I'll say, hey, somebody just the other day just told me about this wine place. And then I'll say the benefits of the wine place, and then I'll say, yeah, I'm actually going on this day. If you want, you can join me, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm communicating in an emotional way. I'm basically showing her, look, I found a wine place and she's into wine, right? It's close by, it's local. It was recommended. It has these benefits, and I'm going regardless if you're going, right? So now what I'm saying is, if you don't go, I'm going. And that experience could have been an experience we could have had together, right? It would have been a great time for us to go on a date. Plus we will be doing something you're interested in. And if you don't, who knows? Maybe I might go with another girl. That's what I'm communicating there. And if you look at it, that's an emotional communication. Like, it's hitting her because there's a lot of things in there that are designed to trigger attraction, right? Something she's interested in. It's local. It's recommended, right? So what is that? Social, what is the word? Social proof, right? Somebody recommended it. It has some special thing going on, special event going on. Plus, you might lose the whole opportunity altogether because I'm going with somebody else. I'm not gonna say I'm going with somebody else, but I'm gonna say, you know, if I've been talking to her and she see my vibe and stuff, she probably knows I'm the type of dude that will probably just, you know, go with another girl if she doesn't tighten up, right? That's already been communicated earlier. So hopefully that makes sense for you. The third one, don't send negative texts, right? Like if a girl is she says something in a text that maybe rubs you the wrong way, or you don't like what she said, don't text her negatively, because the thing with text messages is you don't know what's going on the other side. You may text her a negative text like, oh, you know, maybe curse her out or say something, you know, say, oh, why are you doing that? That's you know, I ain't cool with that, you know, like basically get aggressive with her or whatever, right? And you do that, and she could be on the other side with another guy or something, and she's looking at that and she's like, man, I'm glad I'm with this guy, you know, because I would have to deal with his negative shit, you know. That could literally happen. So you may send that negative text thinking that it's gonna get her mad or whatever, but she may be on the other side, like with some other dude, maybe about to go in his bed. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but that's how you have to think. Like, you send a negative text, if it gets to her in the wrong moment, it could actually backfire on you, right? You might think that negative text is gonna get her to straighten up or act right, whatever. So typically, if she says something or does something I find disrespectful, whatever, I'll more than likely call her about it or address it in person, or even I might even send a voice message just so she can hear, you know, like maybe hear what she needs to hear in my voice, right? Maybe she'll hear more sincerity or whatever, and then it will come across. So even if she's doing something, whatever she's doing, it will come across in the way that I want it to come across. A text is just words. See what I'm saying? So she can take that how she wants based on what she's doing or whatever. But even then, like a lot of times I just won't do it. When it's negative, it's either I'm gonna have to address her in person or call her. But a lot of it is more so in person, because I want to see her body language. I want to see how she's responding to it, whatever. And a lot of times, like if I have something to address that's like a negative topic or whatever, maybe me feeling disrespectful or something that could be taken negative, I find a way to communicate it in a way that's not negative, right? So let's say she didn't text me back. Maybe we scheduled something, she didn't text back, or she didn't show up or whatever. I'll address it in a way where it's like it's coming from a place of understanding, but it's also coming from a place of don't let it happen again, or there's gonna be consequences. See what I'm saying? It's not, I don't go at it like, oh, you ruined my day. Oh, I can't believe you didn't show up. You know, it's more like, okay, we clearly set a day and time that we were gonna link up. You didn't show up. I'm the kind of guy that when I set a specific time to meet up with someone, I'm gonna show up. And if that person doesn't show up, I take that as disrespect, right? So let's make sure that doesn't happen again, right? And then now she understands clearly where you stand. And if it happens again, then you decide, you know, what the consequences will be. The fourth one, texting from a place of weakness, right? Texting from a place of weakness or trying to get. So let's say you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, feeling weak or whatever, and you text her for like emotional support, like, hey, you know, I'm just going through it right now. Like, I'm so depressed or whatever. You know what I mean? The problem with that is that a woman looks to her man for strength, right? Now, if you want her to see you as her man, or see you as her potentially could be her man, you want to demonstrate as much strength as possible. As much strength as possible. Actually demonstrate no weakness, right? If you're in like a long-term relationship with her and, you know, you have a bunch of experiences with each other and she's seen a lot of strength from you, and then, you know, one day you have a down day, that's okay. You know, like she should, you know, me personally, I don't really ever really have down days in the sense that it's to the point where I need to text a girl for emotional support. I don't have those kind of days. But if I'm in a relationship with a girl long term and she's seen me through so many different experiences, she knows I'm not like a weak person. Maybe I just having, you know, just going through a lot of adversity and I need some kind of support. You know what I mean? And so in that case, I may do it. Right? I probably still wouldn't, but that would be a situation where I would do it. But if it's like a girl I'm talking to or a girl I just met or whatever, there's no way in hell I'm going to communicate to her in a way where it looks like I am seeking emotional support or seeking guidance or seeking strength, or you know what I mean, from her. Because I know that if I want to be her man or present myself in that way, I have to demonstrate strength. I have to demonstrate courage. I have to demonstrate perseverance. I have to demonstrate, you know what I mean, that I'm winning. So you don't want to communicate from a place of weakness or a place where you're like taking, trying to get validation. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be giving. A lot of your communication wants to be you giving, right? You're living your life, you feel fulfilled, you're happy, you feel whole, you feel joyful, and you want to share the energy. That's where your texting should come from. Hey, let's go on a date means, hey, I want to share some good vibes with you. Hey, I want to have a fun experience with you. Not, hey, I'm having a bad day and I need to be around you to feel better. That's incorrect frame, right? And the last one is never compromise your character for a result, right? As a man, you should have a code. You should have values. You should have principles. You should have boundaries. You should, have rules on how you live your life. Like, you should have a way that you carry yourself, right? And like some form of like structure in that, right? So you don't bend or break your frame or break character when somebody challenges you. Now, what I see guys doing, and I am against that, and I don't do it, is guys will change their character or try to do something just to get a result from a woman. Like maybe say something that goes against their values or do something that goes against their values, and they justify it because they think the woman is worth it or whatever. And to me, what you're doing is you're putting her on a pedestal and you're devaluing yourself, right? You're breaking your character. You're essentially, when you break your character and compromise, literally what you're doing is you're lifting her up and you're putting yourself down. That's exactly what you're doing. And you will be affected by that. You won't notice how you're being affected by it until something happens and you make a decision that goes against your character, and it causes problems in your life. And it was because it started with when you did it with that girl. When you break your character, it's like a thing. It can become a cycle, and then you start losing your values. You start losing your principles, right? So just don't break your character. And women, when you break your character for women, it's demonstrating weakness, right? She can't trust you because she's expecting you to be the way that you presented yourself to her when she met you, right? If she accepted you in the sense that she gave you her phone number and agreed to a date, that means she's accepting that character that you demonstrated. She was attracted to it, right? So if you start breaking character and bending just to get her, and she picks up on that, she notices that, she's going to lose attraction for you, right? Because now she can't trust you. Now she knows that you're trying to manipulate her, right? You're trying to get a result. You're trying to take, and you're trying to like be sneaky about it or shortcut your way to whatever result you're trying to get, right? So those are the 5 texts that you do not want to send. You don't want to be one of those guys that's like, oh, you're so beautiful, so pretty, whatever. You don't want to be logically explaining to a girl why she should go on a date with you, why she should be your girlfriend, or why she should, you know what I mean? You want to demonstrate emotionally, right? Through your actions, through communication that demonstrates intelligence, demonstrates character, confidence, all those good qualities. Don't text her from a place of negativity. Like, don't send a negative text because you don't know what's going on the other side. She may interpret it the wrong way, take it the wrong way, and it could lead to issues that you don't want to have. Don't text from a place of weakness or seeking strength from her, like trying to get strength from her, trying to get validation from her, trying to use her for your happiness. Text her from a place of strength. Text her from a place of, let me share good vibes with you. Let me support you. Let me guide you. Let me lead you. Let me be a man, right? And the last one is don't compromise your character to get a result with a woman. Don't break your values. Don't break your principles. Don't break your belief system just so you can get a girl, right? Because first of all, it affects you. It affects your confidence. It affects your character, your self-esteem. It affects your self-worth. And also it will actually turn the woman off, right? If she figures out or picks up on the fact that you're doing that, she's not going to trust you, and she's going to lose attraction for you, and she's either going to start avoiding you, or she's going to start testing you more, and basically the relationship's going to crumble, right? It's going to fade. Another guy's going to show up probably, or maybe there's another guy already in the picture, and her focus is going to go more towards him, right? Because maybe he's just demonstrating more strength, more character, or whatever, right? So that's the advice for this video. If you are a man who is struggling in your dating life and you would like some guidance, you like some help on how you can achieve the results you want in your dating life, send me a private message. Let's have a conversation, see what you need to do to achieve the dating life that you'd like to create. Thanks for watching. Peace.